I want to read you guys this crazy story that just got posted in the New York Post. This story is called, "I Left My Wife Behind at the Airport and I'm Not Sorry." Honestly, I'm not going to read this whole article. I'm going to give you guys the SparkNotes version. But, so this is a story that got posted on Reddit. I think it was just like a relationship subreddit. It wasn't an Am I the A-hole? Here's the story. So this man, he is preparing to go visit his daughter, who is in college age and going to school abroad. He and his wife, who is his second wife and not the mother of this daughter, have been trying to go out and visit her as often as they can. So the day comes for them to get ready and leave for this trip. And 15 minutes before the plane is set to depart, wife says, "Hey, I want to grab some Starbucks." Now, husband in the post says repeatedly that he is very type A. It's important for him to have proper time management, get to things on time. And so he tells his wife, no, don't go to Starbucks. The plane is leaving in 15 minutes. Starbucks is like all the way across the terminal. You're not going to be back in time. You're not going to get your drink in time. Forget the Starbucks. She's like, no, it'll be quick. And she insists on leaving. So, of course, before she comes back, plane starts boarding. He's waiting towards the back. Everyone gets on. They're starting to tell him, like, 2 minutes till we're done. He's pleading with them at the gate, like, please, my wife just ran to Starbucks. She's trying to make her way back here. And they're like, no, dude, we really got to fill up these seats and go. So he makes a snap judgment, gets on the plane, leaves his wife behind. Now, here's the thing. I'm sure a lot of you guys are already like, yeah, some of you might be like, no. But to those of you who already are getting like a bad feeling about this, that like maybe this isn't just her being irresponsible.
Yeah, something seems fishy.
There's more. So the husband goes on to say this is not the first time she's done this. Okay, the year prior that he wanted to go visit his daughter, she slept in, and he had to try to wake her up 5 times to get her to even stir. Once she's finally up, she's like, I have to eat my oatmeal. I have to make a pot of coffee. Pushing the time until finally they completely missed their flight and were out the whole 2 days that he was planning on spending with his daughter. So that also is a lot of what led him to piecing out at that airport gate. He takes the trip. He's in some communication with his wife during that weekend, and this doesn't end up coming up at all. So he's actually thinking to himself, like, maybe she's not fighting me on this because she actually recognizes that she was in the wrong. Oh, nay. She was simply just beginning to give him what would turn into a 10-day silent treatment, where at the end of that silent treatment, she made it very well known that she thinks that he's the a-hole, and that he should not have left her at all. I'm sorry, you're
that's
probably
planned
reading...
behavior, yes. This is some... Oh, what's the dude on TikTok who's always like, nefarious intent? But it's
I don't know.
But that's what it feels like. It's very much like, I have a plan, I'm going to enact my plan. And like, when you told me she's done this before, I'm like, oh boy, it's going to be the same story. And you're like, he tried to wake her up 5 times. And what did I tell you when you told me that? I have never known, dated, aware of any woman or person who identifies as a woman who takes 5 times. I have not known the most dude bro college frat bro or the most tired teenager. Okay, the teenager maybe. But it's like 5 times for an adult woman. Like, it's one of those things where...
That was weaponized incompetence.
Yes, exactly. It's like you're pretending.
I don't like to use that word,
You're pretending. You're rolling over and going, oh, but I don't want to. Because here's the thing. Adults, like, some of us, yeah, we'll roll over. Like, there's some times where you're like, I want to sleep in. Or you're like, or you don't hear. But even then, it's like, I can think of, in the 10 years that we've been together, literally less than a handful, probably less than 5 total times ever that I have come and been like, honey, wake up.
I can think of specific times. One, after my C-section.
But that's not okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
2, when I had influenza B.
Okay. Wow, this sounds like really extenuating circumstances.
Those are the only times that I can think of where you tried to wake me up, and I would not wake up. Okay, both of which would have been valid excuses. And I think that a good and reasonable wife would have said, hey, I'm still recovering from my C-section, or hey, I feel like I might have some kind of a sickness. You go without me.
Right.
But that's not what happened.
No,
here.
to just be like, it seems so naive, like it's ignorant. Honestly,
Dude, at best, it's ignorant.
On his
and
part,
lazy.
I'm saying.
Oh, I was going to say
on his part, I was going to say it's naivete, but he has to be aware, like, oh, she's totally sabotaging and willfully ignoring it. So he's being ignorant to what she's doing for whatever reason, and it's one of those things like
denial's a hell of a drug, man. And I've been in the stepmom community for long enough to recognize this behavior. It's really up there with staying for the kids syndrome. But, like, in this case, they're not necessarily staying for the kids. He may be so, like, traumatized by all this failed past relationships that he's like, I'm gonna make this one work no matter what. And I think that a lot of these dads who stay with stepmoms and, you know, moms who stay with bad stepdads who... I think they know deep down that this person doesn't like their kid.
Right.
But they're in denial. They're like, there's no way, because I love my kids so much, there's no way that's
so crazy
really
to me.
on.
Like, how do you, again, yeah, like, you're right. How do you marry someone with a kid and then have them be like, well, that's it. It's like, I saw a TikTok going around with people, like, parents. It was a mother who made the initial thing, and a lot of parents came in disagreeing, and it's like, oh, sweet Christ, you are not ready for children, you people who literally have parents.
Oh,
but
like
the mom said,
like basically
the mom said, having a child is a life sentence. And a bunch of people came in and they're like, no, it's not. Once that kid's 18, I'm out of there. And they're like, if you're not willing to parent beyond your child being 18, you're not a parent. You are narcissistic, and you want that kid for you, and then you don't care. You're not a parent. And it's like, she's like, I'm not saying that it's a prison sentence, but you're signing up for life. You are that kid's parent until beyond you. After you die, you're still their parent.
You know what
your
ends
lessons
at 18?
are still going on.
You know what ends at 18? Me having to deal with your ex.
Yeah.
And even then, kinda. Like,
because
nothing's for sure.
No, because again, like, you know who's probably going to be at all of their birthday parties still? The ex. And because we love our kid, we're not going to be like, you know, if you're not going to be, some people might, you know.
We'll still keep inviting them to things.
Exactly, and they invite us. They're getting better about it, to be honest. Like, there's a lot more inclusion on all
Things
ends.
are probably going to be so much better by then, honestly. I'll end on this note. I think my final consensus with this stepmom is, at her absolute best, she's lazy, negligent, uncaring, and disrespectful.
Right.
And at her absolute worst, she has become so good at covertly weaponizing her incompetence to manipulate the father-daughter relationship.
To detrimentally affect that,
that they have. And neither of those are very good.
No, they're bad, actually. They're very bad things.
Now, do I think that he should divorce her over this? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go that far.
Who's to say?
But I am going to say good on him for starting to set some hard boundaries, because the thing is, this is how she's gotten away with it. It just reminds me of, like, when my daughter kind of finds, like, a weak link in the discipline chain, and she'll start to be like, oh, maybe if I cry, I can get out of this. And I've had to, like, catch myself and be like, oh, you know what you're doing. You're smart now.
That's part of
I'm
what
not
kids,
playing along.
That's part of what kids do, is they test their boundaries and learn how that works.
Apparently, so do partners in
They
marriages.
clearly learned the wrong lesson in childhood, to where this got them what they wanted enough to where they're like, this is how I can treat my partners.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me you don't support your husband and his daughter without telling me you don't support his husband.